Skit.
I know. That means we go.
Dude, the ball is spinning everywhere.
I know, but we line up right there. Thanks. I'm only standing up because
Okay, everybody's going to have to listen if they want to hear our skit, okay? A long time ago, in the days of knights and kingdoms, existed a tiny village called Spankville. Despite its ominous name, it was a happy place where people danced in the streets and had many a merry feast. The most famous of townspeople included Jack the blacksmith, Farmer Joe, Rod the fire marshal, Dr. Doolittle, also known as Doc Duty, and Humphrey, who served as priest and caretaker. One day, on All Feast Day, when the town was festively dancing in the street, the alarm bell began to ring. Pull hard. There we go. The sound startled the villagers, and they scattered towards their homes to find their weapons. But it was too late. Before they could return and deal with what was happening, an evil dragon from the land of darkness descended upon the village. He was horrifically ugly and overwhelmingly smelly. The people referred to him as Smog. He had been there a long time ago. Before the villagers' eyes lay broken food carts, strewn benches, and the fiery destruction of their tiny town center. The villagers were so sad. After time passed, the town learned that the dragon was famous for traveling from town to town, leaving destruction in his wake. From 2 towns over, in a place called the Land of the Forgotten Name, a band of brothers decided to avenge the destruction of Smog. They set out on a mission. Dun, dun, dun. From the outside, they were a scrappy-looking bunch. There was Brian the Brain, Starvin' Martian, who was always hungry, Freckles, who had freckles, Prince Mikhail, who wasn't really a prince, and Justin Bieber, the town's most handsome. By and by, the brothers, who now called themselves the Avengers, came upon the town of Spankville. The makeshift warriors were weary and tired from their journey, and of course they were hungry, especially Starvin' Martian. As they arrived in Spankville, they sought the kindness and help of the villagers. "Do you have some food to spare?" they asked. "Might you have a blanket? What about some firewood?" One by one, the villagers were rejected. The townspeople were worried about sharing their supplies. Sadly and much discouraged, the Avengers moved on. Their quest to find Smog was motivating them to go on. Though the town would not help them, they were all former Cub Scouts, and they knew that they could survive off the plants and animals in the surrounding woods. And so they left. As twilight came, the Avengers ate fried groundhog sprinkled with flies, and they began to settle in for the night. Suddenly, they heard a commotion and a warning bell from the town of Spankville. Eerily, the bell rang through the night. The Avengers knew it must be Smog, up to his old tricks, but it was dark and the warriors could not help. Frustrated, they hunkered down for the night and tried to get some rest. The next day, weary and hungry, especially Starvin' Martian, the Avengers returned to Spankville. Everywhere they looked was chaos and upheaval. Kindly, the Avengers began to help the townspeople fix the town. Amazed, the villagers asked, "Why? We were so mean to you. Why would you help us?" The Avengers told them that because they were former Cub Scouts, they had been taught to be kind and helpful, and so it was that the Avengers helped. In return, and feeling awfully guilty, the villagers fed the Avengers and gave them blankets for the night. The next evening, the town was restored and food was in their bellies, and they all sat down around the campfire and began to talk. They talked. They planned. They shared their stories of Smog, and they schemed. Working together, they determined that the next time Smog came, he would be foiled. A plan had been formed by the
Avengers!
Sure enough, in 2 days' time, as night approached, the bell tolled. The evil, destructive Smog had arrived. There he goes. Ready and poised, just as Smog swooped in, the villagers raised a large mirror. Get the mirror. Though they were scared and worried that they might be wrong, they stood their ground and held the mirror high. Sure enough, rumors of Smog's excessive vanity was true. As expected, the dragon stopped and began to admire his scaly skin, his long snout, and his fiery red tongue. Quickly, the Avengers leapt into action. They jumped on the dragon, wrapped him in rope, and took him away. The villagers and Avengers joyously cheered and danced. Woo-woo! Working together, they had defeated the dragon. The end.
Hey.
All right, Den 1, take a bow and do your cheer.
Okay, Caden, go.
We are the Avengers, the mighty, mighty Avengers. Great, greatest, mighty and true. Look out for us, 'cause we're looking for you.
Way to go, Avengers! Let's see your heraldic den flag. Very nice, you guys. Way to go. Let's give it up for our youngest campers in camp. Awesome job, you guys. Awesome. You were very inspired by our den chief.